Alright y'all, I'm fixing to head over into this spot I hunted the other day, and I saw a piebald doe that was real pretty looking, and I'm not going to give her too much effort, but I'd like to at least give it a shot and maybe get a shot at her, maybe see her again. Before I head off into the woods, I'm going to talk a little bit about mapping on my phone, because I've been getting some questions, and when I'm looking for a piece of public to hunt or trying to find a place to scout, I always go on my phone or even on my computer and look at aerial maps, topo maps, property lines, all that kind of good stuff. I want to see what's out there. Is it thick woods, open woods, grass fields, crop fields, that kind of thing, thickets. And of course, property lines are very important. And what I've been using for the past 2 years at least now, I've been using Onyx Hunt. And I think I heard about it on some Facebook groups or something. People started talking about it. I had tried some other apps I wasn't really too satisfied with. I'm not going to show y'all the spot I'm hunting on the map because I don't want to give it away. It's not just giving away my spot, it's giving away everybody's spot. This place gets hunted pretty good, and so I'm going to keep that a secret, and I'm going to look somewhere random here in Tennessee that looks just like it, and I'm going to pretend it's this spot and show you what I'm looking for before I go in to find a spot to set up. Before we get into that, I'm going to show you some of the features. So I zoomed in on just somewhere random that I don't have any pins marked or anything. I don't even really know where this is. You've got map layers down here in the bottom. I've got a few states that I've got saved. So I'm going to go to Tennessee. Private lands, government lands, possible access, management units, huntable lands. There's a lot more layers, but this is pretty much what I use. Private land shows all the boundaries of private and public land. Government land shows like TVA, Corps of Engineers, city parks, things like that, state parks. As you can see, it's showing landowner names. So you can tap on a property and it'll show you the landowner's name, their tax address, and the acreage. That can be useful for trying to locate a landowner if you want to ask permission to either hunt or retrieve a deer. So here's just a random spot I picked, some chunk of public, just to show you what the boundary looks like and how it's highlighted. So I'm gonna go turn off my layers, and I'm gonna go pick a random spot. I don't know where it's gonna be. I'm gonna find something that looks just like where I'm hunting and show you how I'm gonna map scout before I walk into the woods, and that'll help me plan my approach so I can get in there without walking through bedding or whatever, and so I can focus on certain areas. Okay, so I found something fairly comparable. So when I saw that doe, I was walking up this field edge, and she's standing out here, and she runs off towards the woods here. So I would assume she's in this chunk of woods right here. Now, the terrain's a little different here from where I'm actually hunting. So this is 600, this is 700, so that's each line is 20 feet of elevation. So where I'm hunting does not have a 100-foot elevation change. It's a lot more gradual. But I wanted to point this out since I'm looking at it. This is called a saddle right here. And just picture the back of a horse. This is the shoulders and this is the rump, and you put your saddle right there on the horse in the low spot. Deer will take the path of least resistance around hilly terrain like this, and you'll have deer coming down the sides and cross over like that. You'll have deer crossing back and forth this way, and you might even have some movement from one ridge to the next, but mainly they'll be coming along the sides of the hills, and when they want to cross over the ridge, they'll cross right in that saddle. So that could be a really good terrain-based spot to set up. Now, that's not in the equation for today, but I wanted to point it out. If you zoom out, everything's green. It's the aerial images were taken in the summertime, but if you zoom in, you get wintertime. Now, I can't say it's like this for everywhere, but pretty much everywhere I've looked on the map, it looks like this. It switches to wintertime when you zoom all the way in. So notice here we got open hardwoods. You can see a lot of gray. Notice all the green in here, those are cedar trees. So any evergreen like cedars or pines will show up green during the wintertime, of course. And you can see a few hardwoods scattered in there, but this is going to be thicker because of the cedars. It's going to be, I would consider this a bedding area because it's going to be thicker, and they'll probably bed on that hillside. So there's a trail that comes around, and I'm going to get around the backside, and I'm going to get up in the open hardwoods and skirt around all the cedar thicket so I don't walk through bedding. and the wind is going to be coming this way and switching, kind of blowing that way today. So that's my plan of attack, is stay in the open hardwoods, get around the bedding with the wind in my favor, and then work my way towards the field where I saw that doe go in. So I might end up where I saw her, but I'm going to start in the back end on the downwind side and circle around all that cedar thicket and just look for oaks, acorns, deer sign, everything, deer trails. So this is where the real scouting comes in, is where you got to get out there and you've got to walk it and actually find the deer sign. But looking at a map really helps you put a piece together, like for example the saddle, the cedar thickets, and then the hardwoods, and I know where I'm going to start. So one more thing, waypoints. Let's say I want to scout this saddle. I'm going to add a waypoint right here, and what onX has here is a whole slew of different waypoint types: food source, food plot, tree stand locations, scat, Sasquatch. So yeah, for all of you out there hunting Sasquatch, I'm just gonna use the basic X location mark and save it. And one other thing you can do with this that I find handy certain times, tap on your waypoint that you saved and tap right there, view edit, you can choose the color. Now when I almost always do red. I'll do other colors. I'll do brown for scat or things like that. If you go to the bottom menu on onX, I can't show you, it's going to pop up all my spots, but there's that off grid button that takes you to your off grid maps, which you can save. Now say you're looking at a piece of public, you're looking at it on the map, you've got it on your screen, you go to off grid and create a new map. That will download it to your phone, so when you get out there in the middle of nowhere and you have no cell service, you can pull up your off-grid map and your GPS will usually still work. I had to put that in there because that's extremely useful, and that's one of the main reasons I started using onX, was because of the off-grid maps. Right here's mostly hickory trees, shagbark hickory. That's not really a food for deer. The shells are a little too hard. They will eat pig nut hickory sometimes, but I've never seen a deer touch a shagbark. They're just a little tough to crack. So there's nothing yet. Oh, I know there's a red oak down there. There's probably gonna be plenty of oaks going through here. Y'all can see the drainage down there. I'm gonna stay this way. There's more than just does in here. And I'm trying to kill a certain doe, but I would not mind a good buck at all. Okay, there's a big mature red oak here and one right there. There's a chinkapin oak between us, but I don't see any acorns off it. The red oaks are dropping really good. There's not a lot of deer sign here. Nothing to get excited about, but there's a good rub right over there. You can see it from here. And then that's all the cedar thicket. Y'all can see what I'm talking about now, how thick it is up there. Staying out of that, working my way on down. I can see more big red oaks up ahead, so we're going to keep pushing through. This one's not as fresh, but it's another good rub. It seems like the rubs are following the edge of the cedar thicket. Deer creatures to the edges, so that doesn't surprise me one bit. Alright, I just found a big white oak and another white oak. They're not dropping a ton, but there's just a few acorns. Look. Deer chocolate right there. Okay, I lied. This smaller white oak tree here is dropping a lot more than I thought. Just right here, I picked up 3 acorns. There's more. I can see a lot more. That's good. I was standing here talking and didn't see this. That's fresh from today. This is the spot. There's some more. Yeah, the closer I look, the more deer sign I see right under this white oak. There's some more right there. Deer is not downwind, it's crosswind. It's either swirling or the deer's spooked by something else. The wind has been good, it's coming this way. The deer's that way. Well, it didn't turn out as good as I hoped. The sign is here. I'd like to be back. I really would like to try a morning sit. Probably won't be able to for a few days at least, but I might be back in the evening. Either way, I'd like to be back. I'd also like to do some more scouting in the general area, but I'll catch y'all next time.